Hello and welcome in to another episode of the Fantasy Football Forecast. I'm your host, Trevor Scott, and we got some guest appearances today. So we got our co-host, Matt Giraldi.
What's going on, guys?
And we have guest stars, Hamza and Derek, joining us today.
Good to be back. Good seeing you guys.
Hey, how's it going?
All right. And today, too, we're going to jump into a little bit of a new segment. We're going to do a beer of the week. So, Matt, you want to jump in on what you got going over there? Which beer you're repping tonight?
Yeah, so my beer of the week is an Artifacts IPA. So it's a West Coast IPA. Artifacts is from San Clemente, California, which is where I'm from as well. And the reason I love this beer is because there is a lot of beers out there, right, that are expensive, fancy, whatever. And I love all those beers. But with Artifacts, you can get these at Costco for $10 for a 4-pack. And so I think, to me, it's a great staple to have in the rotation when you're trying to save a couple bucks here and there. So yeah, highly recommend.
Very true. So it's getting into that like winter time, right? You kind of maybe ease off the light lagers, pilsners, or IPAs for me at least. And so I've got this Czech dark lager from one of my favorite breweries up in the Bay Area called Wondrous. It's a darker beer, but still light on the ABV. Tastes great, not too malty, pretty dry overall, but it's one of my favorites.
Nice. Yeah, getting colder, you gotta start drinking heavier beers, right? Get into the porters and the stouts even, maybe. I could not be further from that, and I was not necessarily as prepared as I should have been for this segment, but I'm just rocking the classic Corona Mexican lager, baby. Let's go.
Hey, you got to find your beach, right?
Yeah. Hey, perfect. I'm in Denver now, so I don't have access, so I got to just find my beach out here some way. So I love it. And Derek, what do you got rocking?
I am rocking a Canada Dry.
No beer up there. No beer up there for Derek.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the episode today. So the reason we have Hamza and Derek on is we are going to be doing Fantasy Football Jeopardy for this episode. Decided to take a break maybe from the week to week waiver wire start sit decisions and throw some Jeopardy you guys' way. We did have our playoff DST episode that we did last week. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. If you need any help with your week 15, 16, or 17 defenses. For this, let's get started. So how we're going to do this is they're going to buzz in with their names. And so whoever says their name first, I'll call on them. They'll try and answer the question. We'll go through. We've got 5 categories, 3 questions each. All right, so here we go. Fantasy Football Jeopardy. And the categories that we're going to be going for is 2024 quarterbacks, 2024 running backs, wide receiver stats, 2024 tight ends, and beer. So we had the theme, so we got a couple beer trivia questions on here. We'll have a final Jeopardy where everybody will be able to wager a certain amount based on how many points or how much money they have, and we'll declare a winner at the end. So Matt, since you're the co-host and you guys get to follow his lead here, Matt, why don't you kick us off with the category?
Let's do tight ends for 400.
This player leads all tight ends in points over the last 4 weeks, from week 11 to week 14 of this season.
Derek, who is Jonnu Smith?
Ding, ding, ding. Nailed it. Who is Jonnu Smith? Derek starting off with 400. You almost chickened out, dude, and then you decide to just answer the first question, no problem. Didn't even hesitate. No, nothing, dude. Just straight off the bat, dude. Straight to it. Dude, I love it.
Because I freaking wanted to pick him up, and I did it, and I'm so sad. In a tight end premium league, too. Oh,
he's been great for helping people that were tight end, struggling at tight end, get into the playoffs. He's been really good over the last couple of weeks. He had 0 points in regulation this last week too, and then ended up with 3 for 44 to touchdown. So save some days there. All right, so 400 is gone. Derek, you've got the board.
We'll go a little easier and do 2024 QBs for 200.
This is the second leading passer in the NFL. Hamza, what do you got?
Gotta be Josh Allen.
No, it is not.
Oh, what?
Matt. I'm gonna go with Geno.
It is Geno Smith. Yes. Ding, ding, ding. Your boy. Yep, that's what I was hoping that you would get that one, right? So
0 Geno, QB, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, he's been a little sneaky too, because he hasn't been that great for fantasy because the touchdowns just haven't been there. The rushing hasn't really been there, but he has been excellent in terms of passing yards. Jackson Smith and Jigba has been a major reason why he has really taken a step forward in his second season. So, don't sleep on Geno in terms of passing yards. He can get it done still. All right, Matt, you got the board.
Let's go to RBs for 200.
I lead all running backs in receptions.
Matt.
Derek, what do you got?
Who is Saquon Barkley?
No, that is not it.
Matt.
Lost 200.
Hamza, what do you got?
Alvin Kamara.
Yep, there it is, Alvin Kamara. Just a staple, right? So we want to make sure that we remember, right? Kamara hasn't been good because he hasn't scored a touchdown in 7 weeks, but his floor has been awesome because of his receiving game work. He leads pretty much all categories in receiving, other than receiving touchdowns for running backs, even this year in in what otherwise could have been considered maybe coming into the season, he was getting ranked pretty low anyway. So he is really backed it up with his receiving game work this week or this year. I mean, all right, Hamza, what do you got? It's your board here. We got 200, 200, and 400. Each one of you have gotten a question so far, so that's awesome.
Well, let's go big. See what kind of hard questions you got, and give me wide receivers for 600.
All right. With 3 more touchdown receptions on the season, Jamar Chase can tie this player for the most touchdowns in a single season, 18 among active players.
Matt,
what do you got?
Mike Evans.
No, that is not it.
Hamza,
what do you got?
I mean, is it Justin Jefferson?
It is not Justin Jefferson. Derek, you got an answer?
Derek, I don't know. Pass.
Old player, you got him on your dynasty team?
We're doing hints now too?
No hints.
It's over.
No hints.
Who is Devontae Adams? Devontae Adams. He had 18. He had 18 receiving touchdowns earlier in his career with Aaron Rodgers. So I thought maybe that was going to be tricky. So I'm glad that kind of stumped you guys on one of the $600 questions. So Hamza, the board's back to you.
It's a good $600 question.
Keep it going. QBs for 600.
Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen are first and second in rushing TDs amongst quarterbacks in 2024. I am third with 6 rushing scores.
Hamza.
The
great rookie, Jaden Daniels.
That is correct.
Ooh.
He has 6 rushing touchdowns. So he has been very good on the ground. It was expected coming in, but it has been really good to see him relay that into touchdowns and quite a bit of rushing production yardage wise as well. So
the crazy thing is I was actually looking at one of these stats earlier because I know we talk about Jalen Hurts kind of vulturing touchdowns from Saquon. And the guy that I was actually surprised about to be on this list is the next guy. And it's Justin Fields. And he hasn't played in how many games?
He only played 6 games. Yeah, and he's at 5.
Yeah, exactly. Wild. It's crazy.
That's cool you saw that because, that would have been a little bit too tough and maybe a little too obscure for this. There was somebody else tied at 5. Who I forget who it was, but there was two quarterbacks at 5 there when I was looking at putting a rushing stat in here.
I think if I
all right, Hamza,
we're
back with the board. You're the leader with 800 right now. Where are you going next?
Let's try a beer question. Beer for 400.
All right. This style of beer is known for its hoppy flavor and was named for the country that imported it from Britain.
Matt.
Derek.
Matt, what do you got?
India Pale Ale.
That is correct. What is an India Pale Ale? All right. So Matt adding 400. Derek, would you have got that? Because you didn't try and buzz in.
I just would have said IPA though, but if you wanted me to say the full.
That's why I put it. That's why I put it in parentheses just in case. Yeah.
Or if you're in Spain, it's an IPA.
I'm cheating. It's on my can. So
it's on your can.
Yeah. I had a feeling you were gonna have one of those. So putting it in one of the questions I thought was appropriate. So all right, Matt, you control the board here. What do you want next?
Let's go beer 600.
This term is used to indicate a mug that Germans traditionally drink beer from.
Hamza.
Hamza, what do you got?
Stein?
Yes, it is. And you have one going. Show it off. I saw you drink out of it. I was like, oh, let's go. And hit the nail on the head with that one, too.
Yep. Thank you.
Love it.
Nice.
All right, man. Hamza's got 2 of the $600 questions here, and one of them was a non-answer. So Hamza's building a little bit of a lead here. You guys got to kind of buzz in before he can. Now, Hamza, you got the board.
All right, you might have to remind me what do we got left?
So we have 400 on QBs. We have 4 and 600 on running backs. We have 2 and 400 on wide receivers. We have 2 and 600 on tight ends, and we have 200 on beer.
Let's do 600 RB.
Daily double. Oh man. So he's got a bunch of money to spend now too. Let's go. He's got $1,400. So how much would you like to wager before you see the question?
So I'm at 1,400. What do we got Matt and Derek at?
Matt is at 600 and Derek is at 400.
All right. Let's be smart about this. Let's bet 400.
All right. $400 bet here.
I knew you would be soft on that one, Hamza.
Okay.
Just go all in, dude. You're already rocking and rolling, dude. All 1,400. Put them away early. I have scored the most points of any running back who was drafted outside of the top 65 overall picks, according to Fantasy Pros ADP. Yes, this question was harder because it's the Daily Double.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I wouldn't put anything else past you, Trevor. Outside of the top 65. Geez, so it's got to be some sort of handcuff, right? That's where you're going with this.
Yeah, that roughly lines up with the top 20 running backs.
Man.
TikTok.
Is it Bucky Irving?
It is not, unfortunately.
Oh, yes.
But so you'll be losing those 400 here. Do either of the other contestants have a guess, just for entertainment purposes? Matt, I want you to answer first, and Derek, I want you to answer second.
I'm between two guys, but I'm gonna go Tyrone Tracy.
It is not Tyrone Tracy. Derek, if you don't get this, I'm going to be extremely disappointed in you.
Yeah, I was gonna guess Jordan Mason.
No, Jordan Mason hasn't been relevant. But who did you trade for Kareem Hunt?
Can I try again?
For Kareem Hunt? Oh,
yeah. Hamza, what do you got? Real quick.
Is it Chase Brown?
No, it's not. Mm-mm. It is Chuba Hubbard.
Oh, Chuba Hubbard. Oh, yeah.
The guy I traded.
Yep.
He is solid.
Yep. So he has been very good, right? He's running back 8 on the season. He was drafted well outside the top 65.
Lesson learned, right? Like he was the starter going into the year. Like we all need to look back on that and not overthink it.
Yeah, and with guys coming off ACLs, we say it every year that they take a long time to get going, and you even see it with Nick Chubb. Obviously, he's still playing, but even Jerome Ford is still very involved. So these guys coming back from ACLs, especially rookies, especially guys that aren't necessarily super established. Those type of starters at the beginning of the year are very much worth drafting. So. And Hamza, I made fun of you a lot for thinking that Chuba was going to maintain his value, but you were right on him, man. You were very consistent. Derek also just wore me out about Chuba Hubbard because I recommended that he trade Chuba for Kareem Hunt earlier in the year when Hunt was going off. So that was a bad call on my point, but yeah, Chuba has been very good all year long.
No, I mean, to be fair, I think everyone thought Jonathan Brooks, even if it wasn't going to be week 4, right? It was going to be week 6, 7, whatever it was. But he kind of took control and he got a new contract out of it, and they're just riding that wave.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right, Hamza, you didn't get that right, unfortunately, but you still control the board. We've got QBs for 400, running backs for 400, wide receivers for 2 and 400, and then tight ends for 2 and 600, and beer for 200.
Let's go QB's 400.
This is the league leader in passing yards per attempt in the NFL. 5, 4, 3, 2. You don't get any penalty for guessing.
Hamza?
1. Hamza?
Is it my guy Purdy?
It is your guy, Brock Purdy. This one's in there for you specifically. I am very happy that you got that. Let's go. Got those $400 right back that you lost on Daily Double. He is very good yards per attempt, right? And he's not benefiting from Yak as much as he has in the past. So it has been a lot of downfield passing, a lot of Kittle, over the middle and stuff, just really opening up the offense. Juwan Jennings has been amazing for that offense this year. So, yeah, very glad you got that one. All right, Hamza, you're still controlling the board. Derek, Matt, you guys need to step it up a little bit here.
Let's give them a toss-up here. So beer 200. That's still there.
Beer consists of 4 main ingredients: water, starch source, flavoring, and this other critical ingredient.
Derek. What is yeast?
Yes, it is. That is correct. Good job. Getting a beer question from the guy drinking.
Pause for a second, because Hamza had a job harvesting yeast in college. So you should know this, Hamza.
From the agriculture school in Davis. Come on, man.
I knew it. I brew beer. Derek just beat me to the punch. He's got a better reaction time than I did. He's got his ginger ale over there, and I'm just
beer. Yeah.
Canada Dry drinker knows the beer question. Yeah. I love it. Maybe you should just be making it, not even drinking it.
Yeah, 100% profit.
All right, so beer is also done. QBs are done. So we're into the 3 middle categories here. We got RBs for 400, wide receivers for 2 and 4, and tight ends for 2 and 6. Derek, the board is yours.
Let's do tight ends for 600.
All right. George Kittle leads tight ends in touchdowns on the season with 8. I am one of 2 players tied for second.
Derek.
Derek, you were first. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Oh no, it's who is Cade Otton?
No, that is not correct. Matt, you bumped in second. What do you got?
I'm gonna go with a wild card here and go Taysom Hill.
It is not Taysom Hill. Hamza, you got an answer?
And this is receiving touchdowns.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh.
I think Mandrews is still in there, right? What is Mark Andrews? Who is Mark Andrews?
Who is Mark Andrews? He is one of 2. It's Tucker Kraft and Mark Andrews. Yeah, Matt, the total touchdowns versus...
Oh, man, I knew there was a...
I will say that Taysom Hill only has 6, so he wasn't the answer anyways.
Okay, I feel better.
It was not Taysom, so if that makes you feel better, touchdowns, he only has 6. I did look at him, and I was thinking about adding him to one of these questions, but... Spoiler alert on the $200 question. He is not the answer to that one. So yeah, but Andrews, I was very surprised that Andrews had 7. He started so poorly, but for those who stuck with him, he's been very productive ever since like week 5, maybe, or 6. So, and Tucker Kraft, the fact that Love has been throwing so many touchdowns and Kraft has been very involved in the red zone, made a couple explosive plays. So both these guys have been good for touchdowns on the season. All right, Hamza. So you're just racking in the dough here. We're gonna have to adjust the Final Jeopardy rules if these guys don't pick it up here. So they're each at 600, and Hamza is at a clean 2,000. So Hamza, you got the board. What's next?
Is RB's 200 still there?
No, 400 is though.
I'll take 400. Let's do it.
All right. Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry are 1st and 2nd in rushing yards. I am 3rd in the league in rushing yards currently. Matt, who is it?
Kyron.
No, it is not close, but it's a couple yards off.
Okay, Hamza.
Hamza, what do you got?
Is it... the only reason I'm guessing this is this guy is like a rushing attempts kind of fiend, and I'm gonna guess the guy not in your Packers jersey in the background, but Josh Jacobs.
It is Josh Jacobs. Yeah, that was honestly surprising to me. I know he racks up the attempts, but the fact that he had more than Gibbs, more than Kyron, I don't know. Those 2 were 4 and 5. I really was surprised to see him, up in the top 5 when I was putting this together. So he's also scored a ton of touchdowns. He's in the double-digit touchdown club too. He's been very productive. I expect him to be very good in the fantasy playoffs. For anybody listening, if you have Jacobs, just ride him to a title, ideally. So. All right. Yeah, that's good. All right. So we got 3 questions left and then the Daily Double. We've got wide receiver for 2 and 4 and tight ends for 2.
Let's just keep it going left to right. Wide receivers for 2.
All right. Jamar Chase has 15 receiving touchdowns on the season, far and away the leader amongst tight ends. I am one of the 2 players tied for second. Matt, what do you got?
Amon-Ra?
Amon-Ra St. Brown is correct. He has 9. The other one was Terry McLaurin. So I was actually very surprised to see Terry McLaurin up there with that many touchdowns. They both have 9. And, I think I highlighted Daniels and the fact that he had rushing touchdowns, but the fact that he's been able to support Terry McLaurin as a top 10 wide receiver is not something that I foresaw in the preseason. I had him outside of my top 30 receivers, pretty easily outside of my top 30 receivers. And so to see Daniels kind of turn McLaurin into the superstar that we all kind of thought he could be when we were initially seeing him come into the league, has been great for this year. I think Terry McLaurin, if you have him in Dynasty, he's obviously an awesome player to keep. And, in redraft going into next year, I expect him to be ranked inside the top 15 wide receivers, would be my expectation. All right, so we got 2 questions left here. Wide receiver for 4 and tight end for 2. Matt, the board is yours.
Let's finish the category, Ken.
All right, wide receivers for 400. Chase, Jefferson, and Lamb are the top 3 leaders in receiving yards. I am 4. Matt, who do you think it is?
I may have jumped the gun here. I'm going to go with something way off, and I'm going to go Jordan Addison. Just because
it is
the
not
spike
Jordan
weeks.
Addison.
Okay.
It's not Jordan Addison. He missed some weeks. You were on the right trail as a hint to the other 2. The breadcrumbs were there in terms of big weeks, but it was not Addison.
Hamza,
what do you got?
if you had asked me this question a few weeks ago, I think I would have said someone else. But after the game that he had as a revenge game, I think it's who is Judy.
It is Jerry Judy. Is 4th in the league. You weren't looking that up, were you? You
No. Because I would have guessed either Terry before that game, I think, but then he had like 200 plus yards and just went off, and I think that propelled him basically to that top category.
Yeah, he had 235 yards, and it took him from 30th in receiving to 4th. And then he had another game where he was solid. But yeah, so it is Judy, and I was shocked, right? Obviously, Judy has been unbelievable over the last couple weeks here. All right, so we are down to the final question before Final Jeopardy. 2024 tight ends for 200. This player leads all tight ends in fantasy points in 2024. Matt.
Brock Bowers.
Yes, that is correct. It is Brock Bowers. I was trying to trip you guys up by, it's been Kittle for so long. But yeah, so it is Bowers. They've kind of been going back and forth, and Kittle hasn't been doing quite as well the last, month or so. Purdy was out for a game. He only got 2 targets in one of those games, so that was kind of weird. But Kittle had been the number 1 tight end for a long time. But Bowers leads in catches, targets, and yards. So,
about 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, whatever. So I used to live in San Francisco, right? And so I was flying down from SFO, and I was sitting at the airport bar in the Alaska Airlines area, having my beers, whatever, and I overhear a couple behind me, and they're talking to someone else. They're wearing Georgia gear, and they're like, "Oh, are you going to go to the game?" They're like, "Oh yeah, we're going to the Sugar Bowl," or whatever major bowl game that was. And the couple was like, "Oh yeah, we're going too. Like our best friends, their son is on the team." And they were like, "Oh, who's your son?" I'm like, "Big college football guy." Like, of course I'm not going to know who it is. They're like, "Oh, Brock Bowers." And I was like, "Oh, I know Brock Bowers." I was like, "Okay." Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was just sitting in the airport bar. They're like, "Yeah, Brock Bowers." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. So nonchalant, like they clearly don't know the game. Yeah, it's just like
and he's from Napa.
Like,
they fly to SFO. Like it's like whoa. Anyways,
gosh,
carry on. I'm sorry.
Too funny.
No, I mean, I was just gonna say, I think for me, I think I was part of that episode where we made fun of Brock Bowers and that photo he took next to
the auto trader.
Gronk, yeah.
Yeah, the auto trader shirt and everything. I apologize, Brock. I am so sorry, but you are a stud.
Yeah, he's been awesome as a rookie, and I think over these last 2 years too, it's been interesting to watch how good the rookie tight ends have been. And I think that's kind of a lesson in how we can kind of treat tight ends maybe moving forward, is take these guys that are young or that are rookies a little bit more seriously in drafts. I think that would be overall, better strategy. Because I know I was dismissing Brock Bowers after seeing Kyle Pitts. I was just like, okay, I'm out on rookie tight ends, right? Didn't draft Laporta, didn't draft McBride. I picked up McBride in a couple leagues, but there's been some rookies now. Dalton Kincaid was kind of ascending in the pre-draft process. He hasn't panned out, but don't forget about him going into next year. All these young tight ends are very exciting for fantasy purposes, and I think they have kind of been showing that they're able to take on more of a workload earlier in their careers than they have in the past. All right, so going into Final Jeopardy, I'm going to change the rules because the final score is 2,800 for Hamza. We've got 1,000 for Matt, and we've got 600 for Derek. All right, so for Final Jeopardy, everybody's going to get to be able to wager up to $2,500, so everybody can catch Hamza, and we have an even playing field going into this. So, figure out what you guys want to wager, and we'll go into Final Jeopardy. The category is 2024 rookies. So text me your wagers. Correct. All right, wagers are in, and here is the question. Same thing. Text me your answers. And I wish I had queued up the theme song, but we are where we are. This rookie leads all quarterbacks in passing yards through the first 14 weeks of the 2024 regular season.
OPT.
Starting from Derek, who was at 600, bet the full amount, the 2,500, said Bo Nix, and that is the correct answer. So he has finished with $3,100. Moving over to Matt, who is at 1,000. He also maxed out at 2,500. Also said Bo Nix. He got $3,500. And going over to Hamza, who is at $2,800. We had a little snafu with the question, but we're going to give it to him. He said Bo Nix as well. And he wagered $800 to get to $3,600, $100 above Matt. So the final score is Hamza with $3,600, Matt with $3,500, and Derek with $3,100. Congratulations, Hamza, on your Jeopardy win. Guest host coming out on top.
Great job, Hamza.
Love me them stats, even though they don't translate to my fantasy football performance. So,
Hey, man, Bo Nix was on the waiver wire in our Super Flex League, so.
That's true.
Yeah, and he's been a revelation, man. He's been really good. The Broncos are probably going to make the playoffs, behind him. So another guy in Superflex that we're going to dive deep into in the offseason, because there is some dissent among the ranks on this podcast in terms of how much we like Bo Nix. So I do think, we'll be figuring out exactly where we're going to have him land going into next year. So. All right. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this was entertaining, and, maybe we'll do this again in the future. Maybe we'll do it in the off season for some ADP information. And we look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.